2, 1, go ahead.
All right. Happy Monday. My name is Scott Williamson. I'm the EVP of Product, and happy to host today's March 2nd product group conversation. Please add any questions you have to the doc. Is this going to be the world's shortest group conversation? There we go, Danielle.
Hey, so kind of calling myself out here. I've never filed an issue or improvement suggestion or anything on GitLab product, and I feel a little daunted because there's just a lot. So if I was going to do that, mostly just to learn, like what's a good place to start? Because I feel a little unsure about that, and I don't really want to make someone crazy with a duplicate or whatever.
Huh. Do you mean where, like which org to put it under, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess even stepping back from that, because I think if you're not in product, you might not even know what those are. Just like say I'm using GitLab.com, and I'm like, oh yeah, I keep doing this manual thing. I really wish I could just have some easier way to do that. Where do I even begin to give that feedback?
I would go to what we call direction pages. So if you're interested in a given area, for example, if we take, let's say it's something in plan, Eric Brinkman has a direction page. It's called direction/dev. And he's got a bunch of themes in there that we believe are important for our overall dev strategy. Underneath that, you can find where we're headed for a given stage and also for a given group. So if we go down to like Kai has the web IDE stuff, if that's the area where you're having an issue, you can go in and see what he's already planned, milestone over milestone. And if there's an issue that you think is close to what you want, you can get in there and add your feedback so that you're not creating duplicate issues. If you don't see it, you could always create a new issue and tag Kai in it for his consideration. Kai, since I used you as an example, is there anything else you would recommend Danielle do?
No, I think that's the best way. I'll also say that you can always open issues in the GitLab project, and Kenny linked to a how to engage thing. And there's a wonderful group of people who triage all the new issues and make sure they get labeled correctly, and product managers subscribe and find those. So I wouldn't worry about the burden that you create on internal team members or even people who work at GitLab. I would say we're here to make the lives of the community members easier. And so feel free to open it up and we'll handle it appropriately.
Awesome. That totally answers my question because I just had no idea who to assign it to. So thank you very much.
I'll add I have a little browser bookmark tab to creating an issue in the right project with the feature proposal template. I'll add that to the doc too.
Thank you, Kenny. All right, Simon.
Hey, Scott. On slide 12, it's down as a key result for this quarter, but do we have any early feedback from the third-party pricing research project?
Yeah, we do. The third party is working on a doc to summarize their opinions of what they're seeing. We have yet to review that as an e-group and make many decisions. So I might defer. I might punt on answering this question because I don't want to miss set expectations on what we will or we won't do. Maybe I could summarize a few key themes. I would say that there's generally a good perception of value for what we do on starter and premium. It's less so on ultimate. Like there's price pressure on ultimate. There's definitely not on the two lower end packages. We're also seeing this trend where customers who use Jira and don't see as much value in the plan area, when they're looking at something like Ultimate, have a very different perception of value there. That's been a really interesting finding. There's pain around true ups. Trying to think of some other key takeaways. We're looking at all kinds of stuff like billing models for .com, true up patterns, price points. What do they value or not value in each package so that we can market better? There's a ton of stuff that they're looking at and we're looking at. We have a new pricing product manager who's now in the mix as well and is looking at a variety of things too. So I expect us to review the findings from that engagement in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll make some quick decisions and move on from there. So I would expect more detail on what we plan to do in the next, certainly within the quarter.
Perfect.
Hey.
Cheers, Scott.
Yeah, Scott. So for like, section or stage specific feedback like that, like the perception of value of plan, especially from users who use Jira now, considering the conversations we had last week about the importer, like where can we see some of this feedback, or at least get it in a form that we can use to inform decisions? It seems like there's some value we could get from that.
Yeah, the pricing consultancy is writing a long form doc, which I can certainly add you to see what they're seeing so far. Jensen's also been on all the interviews, so if you want to pick his brain about what he's seeing as well, he's been along for the ride.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. All right, what do we have next?
It's me.
Patrick.
Hey, Scott. Hey, so so our number one theme is enterprise readiness. I know I'm working on group level integration. I've got some, enterprise specific integrations that I'm looking to add. I'd just be curious to know, like, what are some other interesting initiatives that we're doing across our different stages for enterprise readiness, just so I have some clarity on, here are people I should go talk to. Like, what are some other things that I can help align with?
You bet. The manage area is handling a lot of them, as is enablement, and I'll cover some of them. So in manage, we have large customers want a lot of flexibility in authentication and authorization. They tend to have groups that they've acquired and funky org structures, and they want to set permissions in very granular, specific ways. And so the access group is working on a lot of things around that. That's a big one. The manage team, let's see. So also in manage, there's a group called compliance. A lot of large enterprises want to be able to do quick audits and want to be able to keep their compliance teams happy with very little effort. And so we're going to be investing more in compliance features and functions for larger companies where they have more of an audit motion. In enablement, we're working on .com stability and performance for large customers that might test our system in unique ways. The Geo team has a lot of work to do for some large customers to improve the way Geo functions for very large customers that have different deployments of GitLab around the planet. Gitaly, the Gitaly team is working on Gitaly HA for a number of large customers that really exercise Gitaly in heavy ways. Those are a handful of examples, but it's a very cross-stage activity.
Cool, thanks.
You bet. Jerome, did you want to pile on?
That can be just a read only. It's just FYI that we've got a bunch of enterprise readiness work we're also doing on the engineering side in terms of stability, scalability, performance, and security as well.
Yeah, and Anthony, hopefully I addressed that in my voiceover.
It still kind of sounds to me like those two things are slightly at odds with what features self-managed customers looking for versus what gets implemented on making .com attractive for those bigger clients?
I don't know that they're at odds. At the end of the day, we do have a finite amount of investment, and how much do we put on each thing is always an open question. But we are adding incremental investment to a number of the enablement teams, like memory and database. Geo teams doing some work there. Josh, feel free to pile in if I'm missing any, but we're adding more people to enablement teams, which are very much helping with .com readiness.
Yeah.
We want to be in a position where a large enterprise can pick their deployment model. We don't want to only be in a position where we offer self-hosted to larger customers. SaaS is a trend. A lot of customers are not going to want to, ideally will not want to host this themselves. Not all of them. And we intend to make self-hosted an awesome option going forward as well. But we don't want .com to be viewed as a liability relative to self-hosted. We want them to just make the deployment choice they would like and have a great experience either way.
Yeah, so I plus one to that for sure. So enablement is working on key availability, performance improvements, as well as also isolation. So we're working on getting pages open out the door, getting partitioning enabled, getting ready to move towards sharding. So that work's all being done on the enablement side. Obviously, we're also working on Geo, and we're testing. I think it's actually running on staging right now, and so we're looking at some of the cost impacts of getting it turned on for .com. And so we're working through those things. And so, yeah, .com is a really key area of the enterprise readiness push. And there's still a lot of work going on in manage. And Eric might be best suited to talk about more about the really, I think, exciting improvements to address some of the sort of permissioning aspects on .com.
Yeah, so just wanted to highlight it's interesting that it probably sounds a little bit more like it is focused on self-managed, but if you think about the .com experience, I think it actually helps .com users even more. If you are a self-managed customer, you have all sorts of admin controls. You have things that you can do at the instance that you inherently can't do on .com because .com is a large GitLab instance, and we're the admins of that instance. And so the ways that groups interact, the controls that group owners have, the way that groups are isolated, is incredibly important for .com, being able to ensure that other groups can't see, even users or other projects, ensuring that forking and cloning happens in a certain namespace. These are all things that enterprises expect that you can enforce on self-managed, that you can't necessarily enforce today on .com. So all sorts of improvements are going there out of the managed access groups and the managed spaces groups. And so when we say enterprise readiness, we're definitely considering .com here.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate the extra context, as well as Josh. Cindy, slide 8, we de-investing from Defend altogether. No, I would view it as a merger of the two sections. We will expend more energy on Secure. That's a nearer term FY21 driver. Our Defend offerings are a longer term bet. We are going to keep a handful of those categories going with this combined Secure plus Defend group. David DeSanto probably has more perspective on that than I do, but we're going to continue to invest in a lightweight way and Defend, but most of the energy of that combined group will go towards Secure.
Yeah, I mean, just to add clarification to what Scott's saying, I think we're refocusing Defend. You know, we were trying to do about 8 different categories. We're going to lower that down so we can get a couple things really right before we try to go really broad.
Thank you, David. Cindy, you good on that one?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Danielle.
Hey, thanks for the R&D headcount planning doc and messaging. That was super helpful. I was just wondering if you'd comment a bit on how you think about these types of shifts that have to happen. Like, is this fairly normal for us? And, you know, do you notice any patterns from previous stuff you've seen?
I think it's normal for a large organization like ours to do some shifting. At SendGrid, we had managed our R&D investments through something called the 3 Horizons model, and we had Horizon 1 was the profit center, Horizon 2 was the growth center, Horizon 3 were your longer term bets. And so each year we would evaluate how much we were spending in each area, and we would readjust if we were. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that our strategy as a company, as a product line, mapped where we were investing. And so it's quite normal for us, probably on an annual-ish cadence, to make shifts like this. I think it's healthy. It's kind of like rebalancing your financial portfolio. Like, you want to have the right amount of investments in near term versus long term. And so while we didn't use a 3 Horizons model here, same kind of thinking was behind it.
Thank you.
You bet. Cindy.
Or you want me to articulate that? I was just
Yes,
wondering if
please.
there's a link for pricing. I see the pricing mentioned, but I didn't see a link.
There is a doc. I want to avoid a ton of people in it because it's the third parties. It's the third party owns it. So I'm trying to figure out how broadly to share that at this point. But at some point, we will make that available either through that doc or through an issue or something. If you're passionate about it, I'll add you to it so you can see it.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's some avenue for me to contribute some thoughts to that.
Yeah, I'll add you to it. I want to avoid tons of people in there, but I'll add you and who else asked about that?
If you could add Samya also, she's a PMM, that'd be
You
great.
bet. Yeah, I'll add Keenan as well. Okay.
And while I'm being noisy and asking questions, it says compliance will be under desired staffing levels. Just my 2 cents, 3 cents for what it's worth. I think that that's an area that has been a big driver of conversations for a very long time that we haven't focused on enough given the interest. And it just seems like we're missing an opportunity there to really use compliance to drive more ultimate deals.
Yep. Thank you for the feedback. I do believe we're adding +4. So we are adding to that team, but it'll be 6-ish engineers, which isn't a large team. We may still consider continuing to invest there, but we are planning to grow that team from 2, I think it is today, to 4. Or 2 to 6, rather. Other questions? All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks very much for your attendance. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, Scott.